Hello all, welcome to the MV Creator. Today we're gonna see F5 load balancer work as a full proxy. Most oftenly you heard that F5 work as a full proxy architecture. So what is a full proxy? Particularly what is a proxy and what is it stand for? Why it is called why it is called a proxy architecture? Is there any significant? That's why all the people called as a full proxy. So that we're gonna see today. What is the significant for that? Why it is called as a full proxy architecture? So before start to the F5, I would like to go through the concept of proxy first. What is a proxy? What are the types of proxy and what proxy can provide? So that we're gonna see first, and then after we can go through some of the slide that will help us to reach to the conclusion that full proxy architect LTM or the F5 load balancer work as a full proxy architecture. Before start, I would like to clarify some of the concept which is helpful for us for the understanding or to reach the conclusion. So finally the conclusion is Fi load balancer work as a full proxy. So how conclusion is there. So to reach to this conclusion, I would like to start with the proxy. Okay, so what is the proxy? What does it stand for? Proxy provide? Proxy. Here I am writing some star point that is helpful for future understanding, and here I gonna okay, and here I am going to start with the proxy. What is the proxy? Proxy is, here is a client, here is a server, destination server, and what the definition of proxy is, it is a hardware or the software device which is intermediate between the client and the server. The device is a device in between the client and server, which is intermediate between the client and server, is refers to as a proxy. Yeah, this is simple. So simple definition and simple concept. It's intermediate between the client and server. It's called as a proxy. There are two main types of proxy. Depend on the architecture level, we have two types of proxy. First is the half proxy, and second is a full proxy. There are two, and for this two, it's also categorized into two main category. That is, first is a forward proxy, and another is a reverse proxy. So we're gonna see first what is a forward proxy, what is a reverse proxy, and then after we're gonna see what is a half proxy and what is a full proxy. When we reach to the conclusion or reach to the full proxy, then we directly conclude, we have reached to the conclusion that the YFI is called as the full proxy architecture. Okay, fine. So I'm just going to rough all this thing here. 1 minute, guys. Okay, fine. This is enough. So what is the first is what is the with the forward? What is a forward proxy and what is a reverse proxy? First, what is a reverse proxy and what is a forward proxy? Forward proxy, if your concept is same, here is a proxy device, here is a proxy device. The connection from client to the server is refers to as a forward proxy. Simple. The connection from server, here is a connection in between. Here the connection from servers to the client is refers to as a reverse proxy. Connection from server to the client is refers to as a reverse proxy. Connection from client machine to the server is refers to as a forward proxy. One more point here to understand is, so what is forward proxy is connection from client to the server. What is reverse proxy is connection from server to the client. That's it. The next point is, this is a highlighted point, star point, we can say. So this is the most important point. What is a forward proxy? What is a reverse proxy? One more thing to understand here is, in forward proxy, as we say, as we have concluded or we have said like connection from client to the server. So forward proxy is placed near to the client. Here is a proxy, and then the internet is there and the server is deployed. This is a forward proxy architecture, we can say architecture. So this is a forward proxy architecture. So proxy is placed near to the client. Second point for understanding is, in forward proxy proxy deploy near to client. In reverse proxy, as its opposite, if the connection is established in between server to the client, from server to the client is in a connection has been, so where we can deploy the proxy, here is a cloud or internet, and somewhere the server is or services is deployed. And here this is about the forward proxy. In reverse proxy, what happen is, as the connection is initiated from the server and reached to the client, so we can deploy the proxy near to the server, and our client is in the cloud or also over the internet, and there is a connection in between them. And the server is belonging to the our intranet. So here we can deal with the two concepts, intranet and internet. So that we gonna see next. First, this is the most important concept. Most of the people know that concept, but those who are not aware of the intranet and internet concept, intranet or internet concept, I am going to give some intro about these two concepts. But the highlighted key point is here. So highlighted key point is, forward proxy device is placed near to the client. Reverse proxy device is placed near to the server. That is the highlighted point. This is the most important point to understand, to note it down. So here we can see the two main point, and this is all. Means if you know that 2 point, you aware the the forward proxy and reverse proxy. First point is what? Forward proxy, connection established from the client to the server. Reverse proxy, the connection established from the server to the client. Next point is, if connection is enabling or starting from the client, so where we can deploy the proxy near to the client. Here the connection is starting or connection is establishing from starting from the server side, so where we can deploy the proxy near to the server. So only the two, these are the point. So now I would like to go. So now we can so while dealing with the means while introducing the forward proxy and reverse proxy, we are going through the concept of intranet intranet and internet. So what is intranet and what is internet? Intranet is the definition of the internet is very simple. Intranet is nothing but you have the XYZ organization, you are the employee of XYZ organization. Whatever the device place in the organization is refers to as a intranet. Those intranet also is we can also say that this is accessible to for the particular organization only. So intranet is what within the organization, whatever the device is refers to as an intranet. And what is internet is ISP can provide internet. Here is a cloud. So for the simple for example, one of the example is you are accessing yahoo.com or you are accessing the facebook.com. So facebook.com is placed on the internet somewhere and the cloud in the cloud, and you are accessing this from your machine. You are plus you are there to access this facebook.com. So what happen is you are requesting from the client machine, and this request is going to the internet, to the facebook.com through the internet and reach to the facebook.com. So these are the point to understand. Intranet is the organization network within the organization, refers to as the intranet, and internet is outside our organization. So administrator have control over here with with the intranet. And facebook, if it is placed on the internet, so whatever the other side person which is refers to the device, so it's using means having the control over this. So now we have clear the thing, two two three things like two three things like okay. So what is a proxy we know now. Then full proxy we'll know. Sorry, full proxy and half proxy we can't see till now. So what is a proxy we see. Then forward proxy, reverse proxy, and the concept related to the intranet and internet, this is another part, that is fine. So forward proxy and particularly forward and reverse proxy we see here. So now the next thing is first what we can do is we can clear all the concept first, and then we are going to the slide so that everyone can understand easily, and we are not taking long time to go through the slide. And yes, what I am thinking is what think is we are keep this video as less as possible so that it's useful for you to understand. So okay, without wasting any time, I'll go through the full what is half proxy and full proxy. What is half proxy? HALF, half proxy. And what is a full proxy? So what happened with the half proxy is, here is a proxy device, here is a client, here is a server. So if you are requesting to the client from the half proxy, here's half proxy. If you're requesting from the client, you are not getting the response. There's what happen is, if you're requesting some services you want to use, so request is going to the proxy, and proxy is forwarded the request to the server, and the return way also the server sent to the response to the proxy, and proxy simply redirect in response to the client, and you are get the response. Simple. So here proxy is the intermediate between them, not taking the any decision, just simply what proxy did is just sending this forwarding information, means forwarding request to this proxy to the server, and server is response back to the proxy, and proxy response back to the client. So simple thing, means there is no any interruption of traffic. There is just proxy behave like the intermediate device in between them. Also, the second case happen is we can also use the DSR, direct server return concept, also applicable here. So what happen is, if client requesting the proxy and proxy reach to the server, so instead of going to the proxy, the server what they do is, server directly redirect this information to the client, not going to the proxy. So this is method is also refers to as a DSR method, direct server return. So this is happen with the hub proxy architecture, hub proxy particularly, uh, with hub proxy. In full proxy, what happen is, in rather full proxy, what happen we can see now. So here's a full proxy. Here is a client, here is a server, client requesting some information, but with the full proxy architecture, what happen is there is a small separation in between the client and server. If the client initiating any of the connection is going to the proxy, and there is a connection table is created for client machine, separate connection. The connection between client and the proxy device is happen, and another connection is created between the proxy device and the server machine. So this happened in the full proxy architecture. So here is a small gap you can see here. So what this gap refers to as, because of this small gap, there is a two connection generated here. First is with the client to the proxy, and first connection is, I would like to request, first connection is client to the proxy, and second connection is the proxy to the server. So because of this two connection, there is a two separate connection from, and the connection has been separated by the proxy device, and there is a small gap in between them. Because of this, you can manipulate the request, you can modify the request. Manipulate means modify the information. You are not directly send whatever the client, if you want, you are the mediator between them, and the client sending some information like, he sent information like, hey Mayur, just like information. You have manipulated this request, you have manipulated this information as well. So instead of hey Mayur, you have sent, um, hello Ravi. So you have manipulated the request. This is called a manipulation. So you have manipulate request, intercept the request. You have dropped this request. Instead of sending hey Mayur, you have dropped Mayur. You send only the hey here from there. So that's way. So here you can do anything. So this is also refers to as, it can, this is also refers to like, it can provide more intelligence to the user, more intelligence. It's a intelligent. It can modify, you can modify the data, manipulate the data, then intercept the data, that way. So it's an intelligent one to take the decision. It's taking the decision. And what happened with the hub proxies is directly forward the information from source to client, client to server. So that is called hub proxy and full proxies. So now we can go through the concept of now. So first, what we can see is, we we already see all the concept now, and now we are going to this slide. So slide is, what are the different types of proxy. We can see forward proxy, reverse proxy, half proxy, and full proxy. So what is a proxy? Is hardware software solution that act as an intermediary between the client and the server. That's it. That we already seen. Forward proxy, the request from client to the server is forward proxy. Reverse proxy, request from server to the client refers to as a reverse proxy. Types of proxy. Hub proxy. Now hub proxy. Either it can be forward proxy or reverse proxy. So what this sentence said is either it is a forward proxy, means we can deploy it near to the client machine, or it can be reverse proxy, we can deploy proxy server to the server machine. That what half proxy and full proxy said. Or also we see the definition of half, we can see the architecture overview of half proxy. What half proxy did is, a proxy is simply forwarding information. Here is a server, here is a client, here is a proxy. So client send information to the server, proxy send to client, client request to the back, and it's going to the back. So not doing any intelligence here. Intelligence is not there. So directly forwarding your information, even though if client sending the request to this proxy device and it's going to the server, without sending to this proxy device, it directly sent to the client. This is also called as DSR, that we already seen. So our proxies did the same thing. Full proxy is what? Combination of forward proxy and reverse proxy. So it's a combination of forward and reverse proxy, and it will give more feature set. You can modify intercept the data that we have seen already. The next slide is forward proxy. Here, as I already informed or already said, that in forward proxy, our request is going from client machine to the server. So the for the proxy device is placed near to the client. So because of the it's near to the client, what are the services it can provide is, forward proxy take connection from the client present inside the network intranet and connected to them to the server outside the internet. So this is a two thing that we are already seen. Intranet that I already informed, like this is our XYZ company, and this all the client is refers to our company. This is the company called as intranet, right? So XYZ is our company, and proxy device is placed near to our means within the company, and client machine want to access this server. This is placed on the internet means ISP, and it's going to the ISP and going to some of the server. So internet. So forward proxy generally web proxy that provide a number of services, but mainly focus on web services and content filtering. This is an important sentence here. Is content filtering purpose we can use. Content filtering matlab means if admin want to do not access this particular server, do not want to access particular services from the internet, so what he can do is he can block this PC from to access this internet services. So proxy can provide this thing also, means IP filtering also possible, client filtering, client data filtering. This thing can be happen. Thing can be done on the forward proxy with the help of forward proxy. Yes, the most important thing here is forward proxy also authenticate and authorize client before allowing access to the internet, right? That that what I want to I inform you already in earlier slide, that authenticate and authorize client to reach to the internet. It's particularly it's related to client whom to give the authorization or authentication to access the particular service or not. So that what all the decision should be taken place by forward proxy or proxy device, we can say. So this is what the forward proxy is. What is a reverse proxy now? So reverse proxy is, as I already said, reverse proxy is what? Connection from server machine to the client is referred to as a reverse proxy, reverse connection. So what happen is here someone is sitting in the internet or ISP, also called as internet, and this proxy is placed in the intranet, or we can also say XYZ company, our company, my company, XYZ company. And in my company I have placed three of the server, having the I have deployed the service, particular service over the server. For example, XYZ company I have, so I build one website name stated as xyz.com, and this XYZ, for the sake of clarification, instead of XYZ name, I would like to take the name as um, a MV Creator. Okay, my company name is MV Creator. My company is MV Creator, and these are the server in my company. I have placed this server, and I would like to deploy or main, made one URL or services, that is the, and the URL is mvcreators.com. So this is one of the services which I deployed over the server, and I would like to use someone want to access this URL from through the internet and reach to the intranet, that is my network. Means accessing the request, or access, someone want to access my URL which is placed in the intranet, and where he or she want to access, he or she accessing the services from the internet. Means somewhere from the cloud, somewhere someone has requesting to the my network. So what is the reverse proxy is? reverse proxy is Reverse proxy is the connection from client present on the outside network, intranet, and connect to the server present the private network. Private network is nothing but the intranet. This is the internet. Someone accessing from the internet to my network, called as the intranet, also called as a private network. Reverse proxy basically use protect the web server. Yes, as I have already said, I have the site like mvcreator.com. So protect the web server. Whatever the services I deployed, or web server particularly, the server, it's protect, reverse proxy can protect this. Load balancing can be possible with the reverse proxy. Application delivery control and web application, that are the key feature that can provide with the reverse proxy. What are the key feature? This is the most important feature. So first is the load balancing. If you are using the reverse proxy here, so depend on the load balancing method. First request going, if you are using round robin, so first request going to the first server, second is second, third is third, then fourth request came to the first one, fifth is going to the second one, sixth is going to the third one. Likewise, the round robin method or request is going one by one. So load balancing should be possible with the help of reverse proxy. Application delivery control and web application, ADN, we already seen in last seminar. So application delivery control is what? Application delivery control is nothing but the services, whatever the services which is related to the application, eh, protect the application, provide a security to the application, um, then encryption, decryption, or that all the services is required to for the application protection. or security purpose. Particularly I use the word security here. So particularly security purpose, whatever the thing we can use is refers to as application delivery control. Firewall are the good example for reverse proxy. Yes, firewall is a good example, is one of the reverse proxy. Reverse proxy are good for traditional load balancing optimization. Yes, here the thing, traditional load balancing purpose, optimization, SSL offloading purpose, server side caching and security functionality. In my next video, you have clear idea about what is optimization, what is SSL offloading, server side caching, security functionality. That all I deliver to my next video tutorial. So for here you just acknowledge like forward proxy is what is provide application delivery control, load balancing and web application. Also provide optimization, SSL offloading, that all the feature that can be provided by the forward reverse proxy. That's it. uh, then next set is, this is what the forward and reverse proxy is. The next set is, oh man, okay, so here intranet. So it's an example of for what it's example of reverse proxy, right? Someone accessing from the internet to the intranet, our organization network. So reverse proxy is placed in between them, and it will redirect the information, modify the information, optimize the information, that all the functionality done by the reverse proxy, intranet to internet. That's it. Here is the second slide is show you hub proxy. As I already said, the hub proxy is a intermediate. It simply transfer the connection from client to the server. So here is a client, here is a server. So what happen is, it requests to the hub proxy request to the client. Client initiate the connection with the server. Instead of this diagram, I would like to show you the another diagram. This is really helpful to us. Okay, this is the diagram. Next diagram. So here you can see forward proxy and full hub proxy and full proxy both. So what happened with the hub proxy is, you are initiating the connection, client initiating the here is the server, client initiating the connection with the hub proxy simply forwarded, getting the response back from this particular server, and send response back to the client. So this is what the hub proxy did, simply forwarding the information. Also it use this one is also use the DSR concept. DSR is what? Direct server route. So particularly client is requesting server, it's going to the proxy, but when the request came back, it is directly reached to the client without reach to the proxy, directly sent to the client. Request is directly sent to the client. So this is also called as a DSR, direct server route. So this is what the hub proxy and full proxy is. Here as full proxy maintain the two separate connection, one between the proxy and client and other between the proxy and the destination server, that I already informed. There is a two connection, right? So that what the full proxy is. Here next, now we can see, so it's as main point, the conclusion point, our conclusion point is here now. So we see that what is a full proxy, what is the significance of that, and what it can provide. Full proxy we already seen, full proxy. So how it is associated with the F5? If we are using the F5 as a full proxy, as and it's also care most oftenly, most of the cases you also see LTM is work on the reverse proxy architecture. That is a sentence you see somewhere. So it's a work on the reverse proxy. Reverse proxy is nothing but the server side request is coming from the server to the client. There you have to use the LTM architecture or the F5. So what happen is, if it is a reverse proxy architecture or full proxy architecture what provide, I would like to give you two things here. First is what full proxy architecture provide and what reverse proxy architecture, what full proxy provide and what reverse proxy architecture provide. Reverse proxy, 1 minute. Okay, fine. Reverse proxy can provide. So here, full proxy what full proxy provide is, as I already informed, full proxy may separate the connection between the client and the proxy, and the proxy between the client and proxy and server. So there is a first connection between the client and proxy and second connection between those proxy and server. So there is a two connection here available. So because of this two connection and this particularly gap that we all see, what it can provide, you can modify the data, optimize the data, intercept the data, change the data, encrypt the data, decrypt the data. That all the functionality you have given because of the full proxy architecture, because you have the two connection and you have do whatever you want to do, intercept the data, provide the intelligence. It's an intelligent device because of the full proxy architecture. And what is the reverse proxy is? The reverse proxy is a place is if a request is coming from the client server to the client is refers to as a reverse proxy, and it is placed near to the server. So because of the reverse proxy, if you have the two servers, two or three or four or five or whatever the server is there, you can you can load balance if F5 is there in between. So due to the reverse proxy architecture, you have deal with the server end. So you can change or you can load balance the server load balance because of this. So that's why LTM work as a that's why we are using LTM full proxy architecture, or F5 is F5 as a F5 load balancer work as a full proxy. Let me give 1 minute. Just want to what happened. Okay, fine. Leave it. It's hang. I think it's hang. 1 minute. Yeah, it's working now. Okay, fine. F5 load balancer work as a full proxy. So because of this, full proxy architecture provide intelligence to the device, and the reverse, yes, it's work as a reverse proxy. So why it is a work as a reverse proxy? Because uh, we need to initiate the request from the server side to the client, and rather than this, we would like to deal with the server side connection, so particularly server side connection. So whatever the load balancing, optimization, ADN services, application delivery network, whatever the ADN services are there. So in my previous video, you have got a good knowledge about the ADN, what is ADN and what it provides. So ADN, particularly ADN services, can be provided with the help of reverse proxy architecture. That's why we are using the reverse proxy architecture here. So local traffic manager, now we are going through this point and lead to the conclusion. Local traffic manager is a part of suite of big IP product that add intelligence to connection by intercepting, analyzing, and redirect the traffic. That what I said here. It's provide intelligent connection by intercepting, analyzing, and redirecting the traffic. Here is means whatever the connection established from the client, you have modify, intercept this connection, and send through the server side and send another request, analyzing, redirecting traffic. So that all means here you can send here you can reach to one of the URL xyz.com, but from the proxy or from the F5, what you can do is while request is came to the xyz.com, you are simply write um, some code. It's also known as um, I'm not remembering the name. Okay, so xyz.com, and with the F5, what you can do is it's simply whatever the request come to the xyz.com, it's converted to the abc.com. So it's called as a redirecting traffic, abc.com. So particularly what it can do is whatever the request coming from the client is xyz.com, and it's redirect to the abc.com. But even though it's redirected to abc.com and whatever the request came back and it's going to the client, but client is do not know about that. What client know is about xyz.com. He simply send the request to the xyz.com only. But with the help of F5, it's modified this information, redirect to the another traffic redirection can be taken place. It is architecture based on full proxy mode, meaning the LTM completely understand the connection, enabling it to be an endpoint or originator of client and server side connection. So this is most important point here, is understanding of connection, right? There is a two connection. One is a server client side connection, another is a server side connection. So definitely understanding the connection. And this connection table, it can build a connection table. So with the help of connection table during the troubleshooting perspective, while you are troubleshooting the F5, so this is really helpful for you guys. So while troubleshooting, if someone said like they are not they have some url on f5 url on f5, and client is initiating the connection, and they said like I am not getting the connection on I am not getting the I am not able to establish the connection between the destination, particularly FIURL. So that time during the troubleshooting perspective, you have checked each and every hop from client to destination, client to destination. If you are not find anything wrong in between the paths, so you have reached to the F5 and log into the F5 and also see whether you are getting the connection for this particular client or not. So how you can see is show connection is the command to see that thing. So if you show connection pipe grip with segregated of client IP, simply command is show connection pipe grip grep, and the client IP consider 10.2.2.1. So if you segregate this IP and call to the customer and said to them like please initiate the connection, please hit this particular url, and the same time you have checked whether you are getting the connection over there or not. If you are getting the connection on f5, so definitely there is no any issue between the client and f5 machine. Your connection has been established. So this is what the troubleshooting can be taken place. There is a process of troubleshooting. So most probably uh, I'm making one more video which is related to the troubleshooting only. So this is at the end of the F5 total um, series I have initiate, means I have make this video. So let it be. Now understanding the connection, yeah, is a two connection, it's a connection table is there. So understanding the connection, definitely full proxy offer a lot more granularity by the implementing dual network stack for client and server connection, essentially creating two separate entities with the two separate session table, one on client side and another on server side. Yeah, that we can see here. Session in to manage the two session independently. Big IP LTM device manage the two session independently. The connection between the client and LTM are different and fully independent of connection between the LTM and backend server. The result in which the connection has its own TCP behavior and optimization. Yes, that's why we are using the F5 as a reverse proxy architect, as a reverse proxy, or F5 as a proxy architecture. full proxy architecture. The result of each connection has its own TCP behavior and optimization, right? So this is what the LTM full proxy architecture is. Just want to give some review here, like F5 as a full proxy architecture. The conclusion of our today's session is, if you are using the full proxy F5 as a full proxy architecture, what it can provide is it maintain the two session one with client and the proxy, and session two with client and the server side. Session 2 is here. So because of these two session, there are the two TCP connection has been established here. So because of this this TCP connection, there is a two separate connection you can see, and this is independent of each other. So here is a gap because of the full proxy, and what this gap is refers to, because of this two connection, you can modify the data, redirect information to any of the intercept the information, optimize the information, so that all the functionality that can be provided with the full proxy architecture, or also with the help of F5 architecture, F5 big IP platform. So this is what the full proxy is, which is associated with the F5. And I would like to take you a small time, 1 minute only, and go through the what is the TCP connection, how the connection has been established, what is the process to do that I am going to share you less than 2 minutes only. So here is a client, here is a server, pool member is nothing but the server, and here is a mediator between the big IP. So this is a connection 1, this is connection 2. Connection between the client and the big IP is a first connection 1, and the connection between the big IP and the real server is the connection 2. This is a server, this is a proxy. Okay, client. Fine. So client, what I said is three-way handshake has been taken place first between the client and the big IP, and the same thing happened with the big IP and the pool member, means nothing but the server, real server. Three-way handshake has been taken place, and then after TCP or whatever the information, HTTP request is there. So particularly HTTP request has been initiated. So as you aware, what is the three-way handshake is, because whenever if you want to establish the connection, so TCP has the three send first acknowledgement is there with the TCP, and because of this the guarantee of data has been taken place. I am creating one more session for that, what is a TCP handshake and how it is to be made, what is the significant and how it is referred to the OSL error model, and how your data should be going through, that we see in next tutorial video. So here particularly, client send a sync request to the big IP. Big IP reply with the sync plus acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is 1, sync is 0. It send first, client send sync request to the F5, so it's 0, sync is 0. Reply is sync plus acknowledgement, so sync is 0, acknowledgement we got 1, and finally we send acknowledgement, so sync is 1 and acknowledgement is 1. So that way the three-way handshake has been taken place, and we have made a connection between the client and the F5. And once the connection has been established, we are sending HTTP GET request to the F5, and we got the acknowledgement. Once we got the acknowledgement, we are able to send our information from client to the big IP. The same thing, once this all this thing happen with the client and server, the next connection has been established between the F5 and the real server, the proxy and the real server. So here is the same thing. Sync first, three-way handshake has been taken place. Sync acknowledgement sent, and HTTP GET request. And here we got the acknowledgement from the big big IP. So once you got the acknowledgement from the big IP, you are able to send or share your information um, over the pool member with the F5 and pool member. So that what the TCP connection of LTM has been taken place, and and this is refers to as a full proxy architecture, and this is what the full proxy architecture is. Thank you for